Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It's Friday, May 22nd, 2026. We're very glad you're with us this morning. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. If you see me, I should always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the PIC crew, also known as the Practice Interview Team. And you'll hear more about them in just a few minutes. Our agenda this morning will start out with success stories. We'll then go to 30-second introductions, everybody here in the room. And then we'll go to everybody who's online. We'll go to job leads if we have any recruiters online. Then we'll go to our committee reports. We'll hear about the interview success workshop, the practice interview team, and then this week's career tip of the week. And our main event, just about at the top of the hour. Well, I'd like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings to announce? Any landings to announce from here? I did get a couple of emails from 4 different people over the last week. Allison Beck is a senior HR manager for the Bible Study Fellowship in Grapevine. Nathan White got a new position, and I don't know exactly what it was. Deborah Christopherson is got a new job, and Melinda Carey got a job. So that makes up the 31 landings so far for the year. So, yes. So your job is out there, and we expect you to see your name up on the list here soon one day. All right. For everybody who's online right now, if you will, open up the chat window and give us your name, the position you're looking for. Give us your email address, your LinkedIn address, 2 or 3 target companies we may be able to help you with. And then if you have companies that you can help other people with, please list those in the chat window. So give everybody 30 seconds to get started. If you're still typing, continue to type, and please add your name into the list. Okay, for everybody everybody who is here in the room, if you will, come up, grab the mic, and give your 30-second introduction so we can find out who's here. Someone, come on down.
First, all right.
You'll be first.
My name.
Oh, yeah.
Camera, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Hey, folks.
Feedback.
Hey, folks. Good morning. My name is Fabian Broncano. I'm looking for network infrastructure, managerial director type positions. I need contacts at Equinix, Cyrus One, Digital Realty. I have contacts at my former company, Concentra, where I worked for over 22 years. And my name is Fabian Broncano. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, my name's Steve Hendricks. I'm looking for a system administrator or network administrator, IT manager, some kind of job like that. I have contacts in home building, industry, not IT related. And my name's Steve Hendricks.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Nowak. I drive bottom line results by finding the truth in the data, and I'm a senior project program manager. I'm looking for similar roles in consulting companies, which is where I've had most of my career, along with industry. My name is Eric Nowak.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tim Farrell. I'm an electrical design verification engineer. I write computer programs in hardware description languages that verify the circuit models are error-free before the big money is spent to commit them to silicon. I need contacts at Cirrus Logic, Microchip Technology, and Lockheed Martin, and I have contacts at Raytheon. My name is Tim Farrell.
Good morning. My name is David Turner. I'm a senior HR systems analyst with deep expertise in SuccessFactors security. I make sure the right people and only the right people have access to employee data. My name is David Turner.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is John Hamer. I'm a senior technical program manager in the network and technical space. I've experience in telecommunications and aerospace and defense, and I'm looking for a similar job as a project program manager or supply chain manager. I need contacts at RTX, Collins Radio, and I have connections at Verizon. Looks like they're starting to add some contract positions. My name is John Hamer.
Thank you.
Oh, one last thing. The lady at the Texas Workforce Commission, I went to their job fair yesterday in North Dallas. She wanted me to mention, she asked that I mention that they have a new facility in Irving. Apparently the old one in Irving was in really bad shape and bad repair, but they have a brand new one on Walnut. You can look it up, Texas Workforce Commission. They've got a new bright and shiny location for anybody interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Archery, Senior Retail Operations / Merchandiser. I worked for Walmart for 16 and a half years. I do have contacts at Walmart and Sally Beauty Supplies. Anthony Archery.
Thank you.
Good morning, Sally Binnick, stitching together business and technology, making sense of the people and processes in between. I help organizations replace the Band-Aids with something built to hold. Sally Binnick. I have contacts at Wells Fargo, TI, and Ericsson. Sally Binnick.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy Wilson. I'm a senior software engineering manager. I do not need contacts at this time, but I do have contacts at Thomson Reuters and TI. My name is Amy Wilson.
Great. Thank you very much. Here we go. Right. So let's go online now. If you will, raise your hand so that way I only call on you one time, and we will get everybody who's online do their 30-second introductions. Steve, you can go first.
Okay, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. I have contacts at Fiserv and the VA. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you. William.
Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a business analyst role. Cinemark and Dave & Buster's are two of my target companies, and I wanted to let everybody know in technology there's a convention coming up on Thursday at the Irving Convention Center. I've provided more information about that in the chat and a lot with the registration link and a code to use to get a complimentary ticket. So if you're in technology, definitely take advantage of that. Again, my name is William McLaughlin, and I hope everybody has a very meaningful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Velissa.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Velisa Madden. I help companies understand and comply with applicable policies, laws, and regulations. I'm looking for positions at the manager, director, and above in internal audit, SOX compliance, governance, business process improvement. I'm focused on companies like Capital One, Texas Instruments, McKesson, TIAA, USAA. I put all of it in the chat. I have contacts at ADP, AT&T, Grant Thornton. Again, I'm Valisa Madden.
Thank you very much. Sheldon.
Morning, everybody. I'm Sheldon Weinstein, and I'm based in Cincinnati, so outside the DFW market. I lead customer sales teams and help food and beverage brands win at retail, and I partner with retailers such as Kroger, Walmart, and Target. And I'm exploring director to VP sales leadership roles at mid-market food or beverage companies in the $200 million to $2 billion range. And what sets me apart is I've led customer teams and driven business development at global companies like Nestle, Starbucks, Campbell Soup, and at PE-backed and family-owned companies where I've built the playbook, so I know how to operate with infrastructure and without it. Again, Sheldon Weinstein. And I put a couple target companies in the chat.
Thank you very much. Scott.
Good morning, everybody. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning, Inventory Management. Looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely, specializing in inventory control or production planning. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Thank you very much. Florence.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Florence Haugen. I'm a strategic research and market intelligence leader. I illuminate insights for leadership in complex, fast-changing environments. This week, I am targeting Sally Beauty, Cosmoprof, it's spelled COSMOPRF Beauty, and TIAA. Again, my name is Florence Hogan. Thank you, and have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you very much. Rosina. Rosina, you're muted. Hello, Rosina. Okay, well, wait till she unmutes herself. Anybody else online I didn't call on? Anybody else? Rosina, one more chance. You're still muted. All right, we'll go on and we'll get Rosina when a little bit later. Time to hear from the Interview Success Workshop. Good morning, Walt.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Memorial Day weekend. I enjoy helping people shorten their job search with their interviewing skills. So I offer an interview success workshop. You can see my LinkedIn homepage has my email and phone number on it. If you look at my About section, it would give you details of the workshop. You have to be registered to attend so you can participate. It is free, so there's no charge to that. Be glad to have you participate. It's on Zoom. I do it 9 to 11 Central Time on Zoom. I only have 2 people at a time. You interview each other with the questions that I provide in the chat window from the 12 basic categories of questions. And then we discuss options, strategies, structures, ways to approach that particular category in our responses. It all depends on the question, who's asking, and where you are in the process as to how we might want to take an option of how we want to respond to that. But basically speaking, we want to learn how to sell ourselves. Selling is a situation. Is that in an interview? So how do we do that? And so I contain that what we're selling is who we are, what we do, and how we help. Now, if you agree with that and you think that that's the thing that we ought to pay attention to at an interview, then the workshop is designed and built for you. Be glad to have you participate. Just send me an email with your registration request and look at the details in my About section. Be glad to have you come. Now, before my poem, I want to talk a little bit about aeronautics so that you'll understand a little bit more about the poem, since if any aeronautics people are here. What causes lift on a wing of an airplane? It's the air going over the top of the wings that causes the lift. If it goes underneath the wings, then you dive down towards the ground, but it's above the wings that makes the lift. So, saying that, I would love to help you with interviewing things. I would love to be the wind above your wings. And what do you say is the price you must pay? There is no cost. It is free. I am Walt Glass.
Thank you very much, Walt. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's hear from the Practice and Review team.
I'm here to represent the PIT crew. The PIT crew is a great opportunity to learn, to grow, and develop your interviewing skills. All we ask that you turn in a job description and a resume and send it to the PIT crew address there on the email. The PIT crew meet every first, second, and third and fifth Wednesday of each month on Wednesday from 1 to 3. Next week, we will be meeting on Wednesday online only, and they meet every month on the 4th on Wednesday. Great opportunity to learn. Come, please be a part of the PIT crew.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Rosina, do we have your voice now?
I don't know. Do you have my voice?
Yes, we hear you now.
Perfect. Okay, I'm so sorry about that, y'all. All right, so first, happy Friday. And then second, my name is Rosina Gallman. I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. And so I'm looking for a position as a senior talent acquisition business partner, senior recruiter, HR generalist, or HR specialist position in any industry, because I've worked in several. And then I don't need any contacts for this week. And then I have contacts at a variety of different companies. So as we connect, feel free to let me know who you might need introductions to. So that's me in a nutshell. All right. So for this week, the career tip of the week, it was spurred on because I've seen a lot of advertisements about, AI and AI certifications and things of that nature. And so I started looking around on LinkedIn, and that's kind of what stirred up this week's career tip of the week. And so this article is by Nitya Dwivedi. I found her. She's on LinkedIn. She's a B2B marketer. And so she kind of was looking at the same thing. So this week's title is Every Profession Smarter with AI Tools. And so she says, lately, I've been exploring how AI tools are transforming different professions, from marketing and design to coding and HR. So swipe through to discover which tools can simplify your work and boost efficiency. Which AI tools changed your workflow the most? So please review the attached 12-page document, which contains the following professions. And then, the following professions, the AI tools used in that profession, and task functions that are created by those tools. And these can significantly help you in reducing your work time and efficiency. So the professions that are covered in this 12-page document are researchers and analysts, content creators, developers and engineers, startups and founders, marketers, designers, teachers and educators, students and learners, sales professionals, project managers, and HR professionals. And so let's see, different roles, different challenges, smarter solutions. Use AI as an ultimate enabler, and the right AI tools can literally increase your impact and efficiency by 10 times or more. And so I've separated this into two different parts. Part one is what I just read. Part two is the actual 12-page document that kind of covers each of the different sections. And so just real quick to give you an example, I'm just going to read one of the sections, and it is under researchers and analysts, you'll see some of the AI tools would be like Notebook LM, and then the function of that tool would be it summarizes PDFs, notes, and videos. Perplexity, it's real-time research with citations. Gemini, you can use that for data analysis and insights. ChatGPT, you can use that for deep research and report drafting. And then Elicit, you can extract insights from papers. And the impact is you have faster research and deeper insights. And like I said, that's just one of those items out of the 12 pages. Each one has several different AI tools, and again, the different functions of those tools for that particular profession. I'll keep looking for other tools for you guys because I promised to introduce different tools over the months, and so this is the one I found for this week. All right, well, hope you guys have a happy Friday and an enjoyable holiday weekend. Be safe, and see you guys next week.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, we're going to go to Country Burger. Meet us there at 1145, 3115 West Parker Road. It's on the northwest corner at Parker and Independence. They've got burger, salad, and more. And if you want this particular hamburger, you got to bring your own sliced ham because they don't have sliced ham. But come join us. If you want to receive today's materials, we'll give you a copy of the speaker's presentation. We'll link, they'll give a link to the YouTube video that gets posted this afternoon. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week that Rosina just met, I think 12-page, whatever ever long it was. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat. Everybody will get a copy of that. And to make sure you do it, for everybody who's in person, please make sure you've checked your name off on the roster or fill out the little slip of paper. And if it's legible, I'll get you added. If it's not legible, you won't hear anything from me this weekend. For everybody who's on Zoom, please make sure you include your email address in your chat about yourself, so that way I can get you included. And this will also count for Texas Workforce. You know, I keep track of all this stuff, so if I ever get audited, I've got records of who's coming every week. All right, here are the following people, 2 new people from last week who didn't give me any information. So Kimberly or Wes, if you're on the line today, please give us your email address so we can get you added to the roster. All right, it's time for our main event. Dr. Gray is an organizational psychologist, is specialized in the psychology of career performance. Her passion is helping executives build leadership capacity by mastering executive level skills, minimizing career derailing mistakes, and navigating the intersection of old perceptions and new realities. Dr. Gray has assessed and helped thousands of executives, both in publicly traded companies and privately owned organizations. Her background includes assisting companies to make strategic executive level hiring decisions, strengthening succession pipelines, and coaching executives through smooth transitions across the employment lifecycle. Her results-oriented work is grounded in behavioral sciences best practices. She leverages assessment data to guide customized solution and executive development plans. Dr. Gray holds a PhD and a Master of Education in the field of counseling psychology from the University of North Texas and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from Purdue University. So Dr. Gray, thank you very much for being with us, and we'll turn over to you.
Great, thank you very much. I'm going to ask for sharing. Okay, let's see. Thank you, everyone, for being here today and hearing what I'm going to talk to you about today. One of the things that I'd like to share, and I need to make a check here. You're seeing the main PowerPoint, not my notes, right?
Yes, we're
Okay.
seeing the slide.
Great. Thank you. I always want to make sure I've done this correctly. Okay, so we're going to talk about what moves the needle. in executive and transition outcomes. And I'm specifically going to share that the road to success is really about your inner narratives and what those inner narratives are saying to you in your head. And those may be the things that are holding you back. I'm going to talk a little bit about some research, and I'm going to share some anecdotal data as I work with some other executive peer groups in the DFW area and pull all that together. And then we're going to do a group exercise. So welcome again. Thank you for being here. Just to share a little bit about me. I help organizations achieve remarkable results by developing remarkable executives. That has been my 30-year career, expanding everywhere, anywhere from and across, serving as an executive in an executive role, serving for a CEO of a Fortune 750 company, to consulting firms and different roles where I've consulted to both organizations and senior executives. So the list there is to give you an idea about the comprehensiveness of the span of executive work across the life cycle of their employment. So I'm going to warn you right now, my presentations have a lot of data and too much data. And the reason I leave the data in there is I'm not necessarily going to read everything to you today, but it's there for you for reference when you receive the slides after the presentation. So a little bit about me. I moved from Dallas to Corpus Christi in 2023 to fulfill my vision of living near a beach. I am, looking after 30 years of working in this job and 10 years in another job, I'm facing the downhill part, and I always wanted to live by the beach, so I'm fulfilling that. I am an independent consultant right now, and I am working on pre-hires, assessments. I do a lot of coaching and leadership, capacity development, and I'm also designing surveys, which I really didn't know I was going to get into that work, but I've helped in that capacity through the years, and now I'm leading that. So I am a frequent speaker at some of the DFW groups because I lived in Dallas for 40 years. So that's where a lot of my network is. And I am a leadership member for Business Navigators, Executives in Transition. So that's where some of my anecdotal observations will be coming from today. Okay, this is my new boss. Those of you who've seen my presentations before or know me, I recognize a few familiar names. This is Ellie. Ellie is my new boss. She loves the beach. She loves the water. And particularly, she loves to pick up dead things on the beach and carry them around like a good Labrador retriever. So that's where I spend some of my time these days is with Miss Ellie. So today my goal is to provide the psychology behind the job hunting that can help you shorten your time in transition. That's my intent, is to help you shorten your time. I'm going to talk about the journey. Everybody says this is a journey, and frankly, I got tired of hearing about the journey, but I think it's important to define the journey because it does relate to the psychology behind it. I'm going to, again, present qualitative and quantitative aspects of successful transitions. And then we're going to talk about the job hunting transitions themselves, and in particular, some of the mental internal narratives that go alongside. And when we're going to talk about frameworks to dispute them and to get to more helpful inner narratives. And we're going to do that through a group exercise. And then if we have time, we'll talk about some biases that also could impact your job hunting experience. So let's define in transition journey. So what is a journey? When you look it up on Webster's dictionary, the literal definition is a word to describe a physical trip. And it's a trip from one place to another that takes a long time. But it could be a transition that has smaller segments that comprise the longer trip. So, metaphorically, though, the word represents the long and difficult process of moving from one place to another. And in particular, it involves personal growth. And I know when I was in transitions and people said, you know, you're really going to have to develop yourself in this process, I was like, what? Even though I know professional development is important, I do it all the time. It's like, I got to do more. What else do I have to do? It's an ongoing thing, but professional development, personal growth is ongoing. It's a life progression and it can't stop because you're in transition. So it's really a process of your inner journey. And that there's a poet, there's a German poet, Rainier Maria Rilke, although it sounds very French to me, but she is German, from Germany. The only journey is the one from within. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Oh, okay, so the literal transitions. You all are dealing with this right now. You start when you enter into or you move out of your last role and start entering into the abyss. The first thing you do is the preparation on the very left. So, and that's a lot of what you're doing today. You're getting your elevator speeches together, you're updating your resumes, LinkedIn, making them contemporary, you're creating target companies. I heard those from many of you today. You're creating your differentiation. Many of you had that differentiation in the way you introduced yourselves. Here's how I'm different. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's my value proposition. And then the second one on the lower right is you move into job hunting. Usually you found groups like this, the executive level job hunting communities, entered into them, maybe multiple communities, and started already with the interviewing and getting your networks set up, using social media to your advantage, etc. So engaging in that process. And all of that activity and perseverance and continued focus ends up in the very upper left, excuse me, which is making progress towards a job offer, right? Job hunting becomes your job and you dedicate time every day and you try and keep the pipeline as full as you can. Then, of course, you get the offer and then you go into compensation negotiation to close the deal. And then formally, you've landed a job. To me, those are the literal transitions along the journey. I may have missed some, but generally those are the big topic areas. Now I want to talk about some research, though. There is some research by Dodo and Yang, and they're both females. And they created a career transition model that I modified just a little bit because it was psychobabble in a lot of it. But essentially, if you look on the left column, those are where you are today. That's the accumulation of who you are, the attributes, KSAs, which is knowledge, skills, abilities. You could add attitudes in there. Your social relationships and the dynamics that have played out thus far and what you've learned, who you've met, who's mentored you, who you've mentored, etc. But it's your past focus of who you are, because that's all we have to the immediate present is the past. And it's who you are, who you've become over the years to become the experts that you are in your field. And then the transition, I'm going to go through these arrows here in a minute, goes over to the post on the right-hand side, which is a broadened perspective, a different context of how to leverage those skills, knowledge, abilities, and building new ones that meet the demands of your future job requirements. The context of your socialization and the processes you use, and the breadth, the broadening, how you've shifted those over time to also include a new collective identity. And I don't want to misguide you. This is not about changing who you are. This is about expanding who you are. So it's to become more flexible in who you think you are and have a future identity rather than relying on a past identity. That's who you are today, but that's not who you could be. And the breadth of the flexibility of who you could be. So the key areas that or tasks that this model and research proposed is the first thing you have to do is unlearn what you already know. And part of that is letting go of the old to prepare for the new. We'll get into a little bit more detail coming up. The second phase is the social group integration of shifting who you're interacting with. You can think of it even as you had a group of folks at your last organization that you interacted with every day, and you probably spent more time with than you did your family at times. So you had a social interactive group, you had networks on the side as well, you had communities in professional organizations that you belong to, etc. Those are going to get disrupted and have to shift a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them. And the third phase is shifting thinking habits. So it's shifting your inner narrative. I'm going to call it the inner narrative to make it very broad. But you have a variety of mental models that we use every day, one of which is our set of beliefs and how we think about things and some of our biases. And that influences how we enter into the world, enter into relationships, and respond. We have automatic responses, and we have reflective, thoughtful responses that we have access to, but it's shifting some of your thinking. And then the collective identity, which I think I've talked a little bit about. So from getting from the left boxes to the right boxes through those key steps, and they don't necessarily happen in order, they fluctuate as you go, but it's the successful resolution of those and the friction it causes. It causes friction in your life. It causes obvious friction in your career, friction around your social groups. I don't know about you, but I don't interact with as many people, the same people that I used to. Some of them, yes, we crossed together, but some of them had to be dropped, and I had to make room for new ones. And that's what you all are doing as well. The mediating factor is what they're calling fixedness, which is essentially a fixed mindset. Some of you are familiar with the growth mindset versus the fixed. So when you have where you're holding on so tightly to what you learned and saying, no, this is the way, this is the only way, or you're holding on to the old relationships or the way you interact with people and the way you navigate the dynamics, you're holding on too much, or the way you're thinking your perspectives and helpful versus perhaps maladaptive thinking, and you're holding on, you're not adjusting your thinking, and you're not willing to open up your identity to be broader, are things that are going to hold you back, according to this model. And that's peer-reviewed, validated research. So this is the process that you're going to be going through and the tasks that you will be that will be put forth in front of you. So I've had 4 years of collecting landing video data. I record people who land as part of another group that I'm involved in. And one of the questions I ask of everyone is, what did you find most helpful in your journey? And here's what they said. They had 5 things. They sought an executive level peer group. They found executives, peers, who are in the same situation. And so they didn't feel as alone. They attended group meetings regularly and they developed new relationships, some of which they will continue and intend to continue. They attended multiple executive in transition groups that gave them broader and different perspectives to consider. They were open to new learning, and you're learning, you're changing your artifacts, you're updating them, making them more contemporary. And so that helps people to feel more confident. They narrowed their focus and differentiated their value propositions, which raised their self-confidence. They implemented new knowledge and tips from the expert speakers, and they were learning and felt more empowered by this learning. And some of them took classes and certifications to keep current in their field. Things like what Rosina just shared with us, which was AI. And so they had a sense of mastery that they're keeping up and they know what they're talking about. Networking was the third area. So they went to a lot of different functional networking, not their own. So they're in HR. They went to one that was on supply chain. They were in supply chain. They went to one that was on CFOs, financial officers. And so it's shifting to listening to people that are very different than you, that maybe you were interacting with in your old role. However, you really didn't go deep into understanding the group membership as a whole, which can be very helpful for gaining different perspectives. They accepted any and all introductions. They felt less isolated, got out of the house, had somewhere to go, had a purpose. They were open to making connections with different kinds of people. So that opened their social connections and their communities and expanded their identity of themselves in comparison to others. And some of them said, I hated networking starting out. I didn't like it. I'm not good at it. I'm uncomfortable. But now I enjoy talking to everyone about my story. I talk to everyone. I talk to the elevator, everybody in the elevator. I talk to people at the grocery store. I talk to people at my gym. I talk to everybody about my story. And it brings mastery to the story and confidence in your story and fluidity in telling your story. And then they had guides, people who listened, people supported them. They had accountability groups. So they even put together their own board of directors. So they had people who were supportive and pushing them at the same time, not letting them slip into the easier or the old patterns. They engaged a career coach, one of the speakers, or somebody who had a strength that they didn't have. So they invested in their own group by proactively seeking those out. They leveraged their accountability group hard for both advice and help and emotional support, which advanced both cognitive and emotional parts of themselves. And the last piece was helping others. And I think it's interesting because I think most people were surprised at how they felt when they started helping others. They volunteered because they had the time. They volunteered in different areas. They even volunteered in groups like this one, which you have people who are doing things in different areas to help, which is wonderful. So they became other focused, not focused so much on their self, which is a way to get perspective, to draw back from sometimes your own inner drama that might be going on. Helping others to find jobs was a sense of giving without reciprocity. So that was really meaningful to a lot of people, and felt very different, very purposeful for me. They had community participation in their HOAs, in their food banks, local food banks, or other charitable areas, which expanded their identity. They're exposed to a lot of different people. And then consulting or fractional work, which they felt productive. I'm productive again. I'm a productive member of society, and it gives them back some meaningful work, even if it's part-time or just not the job that they had hoped to get. All right. So that's what I heard. So I tried to put those 5 things that is anecdotal data and line it up with the research, the evidence-based research. And some of them repeated, and you may think they belong in different categories, and that's fine. But I do think there's a very good overlap between them, that the interviews had pieces that reflected the research task transitions. And so when I start to think about this, I think, okay, those 5 things that help people be successful, help them move through the process successfully, and to work through the frictions that those things create in their lives. So I really want to talk a little bit more about the details, just to give you some context of where I'm going and how I got to my conclusion at the very end. So when we talk about the learning and unlearning, there's tasks. Those are the tasks that we've been talking about. You're changing an occupation, you have skills, those are going to be changing, you're going to be crafting new ones, and you're going to be executing new ones. You're doing that now in the transition. You're going to do it when you're at the job. So it's good to know this model, because it's not going away after your transition. This is a model you can take with you to onboard and to assimilate, and ultimately to continue to accentuate your leadership impact by practicing some of these. The next one's relational. That's that social engagement, the disruptions that are happening, going to continue to happen, and how you navigate those and how you bring on new relationships. There's going to be hierarchy shifts when you go to your new role. It may be a different title, maybe more management on top, fewer management on top. You're going to have to navigate a whole new system. So you're navigating a system now. Whether you recognize a hierarchy or not, there's hierarchy that is maybe implicit, that's going on behind the scenes, sometimes unconsciously, that you're navigating all the time. And so continuing to do that. With the next 2, they're both cognition oriented. That's your head. That's something, when I looked at that, I thought, wow, I can control cognition. I can't always control when I can learn the new tasks and what tasks I need to learn. And, am I as proficient as my neighbor? And I don't have somebody to say that's good proficiency versus not good proficiency. Relationships, those are something I need to engage in, and I need to do the initiating and the managing. But beyond that, I can't control other people. Now, I can control my mental models. I can control adjusting my values. I can control how I see myself. And I can be in control of adding new perspectives. I can control being flexible in my identity, being fixed or not fixed. I can make that choice. I can continue to make the social connections that broaden me. I can think that through and do that. And I can foster a sense of community, of what's better for others. Remember that helping without reciprocity. I can do that. I might have to change something up here, but I can do that. I control. So I look at this and I go, gosh, I have control of 50%. I didn't realize that I control 50% of my success in a transition that you're going through. So let's talk about cognition before we go any further. So the cognitive tasks are these inner narratives that we have. And these are filters, and they filter our perceptions of what comes in and what we're willing to have come out as our interactions with the world. So they're thinking patterns, and they include our beliefs, our attitudes, and our assumptions. And all of those direct how we perceive and how we interact with the world. Some of them are helpful and they advance our cause, and some of them are maladaptive and hinder our cause. So some of them are really great because they distill complex information. They help us make good judgments, make good decisions, manage expectations, and assist with our growth. They actually help stimulate and support our goals and what we want to accomplish. But maladaptively, they can fuel distorted thinking and be self-defeating. They can lead to feelings that really don't help us. There's really no reason to sit in guilt, to sit in fear, unless it's actual bodily harm, to sit with anxiety, to sit with anger left too long. There's just no, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anything. These things keep you stuck. They're old beliefs, they're old behaviors, they're not helpful. Things like grudges, beliefs like I can't take up other people's time. It's just, I don't want to do that. And we're going to talk about other beliefs, but there's things that just hold you back and keep you stuck right where you are. So these stagnate your growth. And the whole idea of the journey is for your professional, personal growth. That's what this journey is all about. And 50% is right here, and we have control. Okay. In these landing interviews, I also asked, tell me about your journey. What was it like? It can't be all roses. Can't be all these wonderful things that happened at the end. What was the journey like? I had my ups and downs. It felt like an emotional roller coaster. In the beginning, I felt like I was on an island all by myself. No one understood what I was going through. It was discouraging because I went through several rounds of interviews with multiple companies, and I was never, we're going to talk about never, chosen. But I was talking to them in a post landing, so they did get chosen. It was just a constant roller coaster. The job hunt, what took so long, I became anxious because time was running out, i.e., money was running out. I felt like I was letting everybody down, including myself, my family, the financial parts, contributions to my family. While I was happy for others to land a job, I kept wondering, what was wrong with me? Why am I not landing? I was not getting much traction and began to question my value to companies in today's talent market. It felt futile because I kept running into age bias. It seemed to be everywhere. And the negative impact of rejection, repetitive rejection, ate away at my confidence. So those are some things I heard in addition to my other things. So what's really going on is there's a parallel transition going on. There's the literal, the functional, and there's the psychological transition. And so again, I'm not going to go through and read all these. However, the orange components are the pieces that come from the research and anecdotes, and the black titles are the original titles of the function. So you can see that in preparation, there's unlearning and social groups forming. In the pursuit of job hunting, you've got social groups moving. You're starting to get guides and accountability groups, and your inner narratives are shifting incrementally. They will. The big loop there will happen. It will happen. You will incrementally change over time. You can't not change. And then when you are in the job offer or close to the job, it's an indication that your inner narratives have transitioned and you're more flexible in your identity. And when the negotiation comes to bear, you show up differently. You don't show up who you were at the start, way down in the lower left. You show up in a different mindset, in a different series of thinking and identity. So when I started looking at this loop, many of you probably are familiar with a lot of the change models in corporate America that corporate America leverages and uses as they transition. Many of your IT people, you transition things all the time. So you're used to change, leading project change, leading people's change. And so what I find is that when the length of the transition starts to exceed expectations, that's when stress happens. That's when it starts to feel like a hamster wheel. That's when negative thoughts start to creep in of self-doubt, self-blame, fear, frustration, the pressure of letting people down, all those kinds of things start to creep in and they start to bleed out. So we think that everything's going to stay inside of us, but there's ways that it ekes out, and that's another story, another presentation. But when I started looking at this, it's interesting. I started going, oh, why did I choose this wiggly line? This is not the first time I've given this presentation, but I went, oh, you know what? That looks like the change curve, just tilted. That's what that looks like to me. And most of you know that in a change curve, you have to cross the chasm. There's a point at which you've got to get out of that negative and cross back over into the positive. And that's exactly what I see happening. And there's a lot of emotions along the way. And so I propose to you that to enable crossing of the chasm sooner, so that you're closing the gap between the job hunting and the job offer, the finding the right job for you, is to increase your activity in those cognition tasks, the ones that you have control over. And so it's this grouping of activities that sort of swirls around. The more you do it, the better you get. The more people you involve, the more insights you get. So it's like a double down. You're still going to occasionally feel the negative ones creep in, but it's an opportunity to add them to your list of which ones you have that are not helping you and make the transition using some of these tools. So let's talk about the ones that are dysfunctional. And I've used a lot of words. Not helpful. I started it like not helpful, but hinder, to they're maladaptive, to some of them are really quite dysfunctional. And there's some common distortions that are in internal narratives. They're individualistic because the way it's expressed in you will look different and have a different degree of expression than it will in someone else. It may be the same distortion, just sounds a little different. So the first distortion is all or nothing or black and white thinking. So people see things in extremes. It's either this or that. This is the answer or that's the answer. There's nothing else. Well, there's a continuum of else's in there. And so it's finding those. So this includes things like the word never, which we just saw. I never got chosen. So never is an all or nothing. Always, it's always this way, is an all or nothing. Overgeneralization is another distortion. And the distortion here is that you make a conclusion out of one event, one scenario, and you thread it through all other events, scenarios, similar, that's the easy part, and sometimes dissimilar, which is, well, how did we get there? That was like, that's so off. I can't even imagine where you got that. Why is that part of that scenario? It only belongs in that scenario. So catastrophizing is another one. And catastrophizing is making an assumption of the worst and fearing that the worst is going to happen. But there's no evidence. It's just your fear that it's awful. It's horrible. It's the worst ever. I can't stand it. All of those kinds of things that are considered making things, blowing them out of proportion and making them into a catastrophe when they're really not a catastrophe. Personalization, taking things personally when information is not intended to be taken personally. So it's not directly connected to you or caused by you, but somehow you have determined that it is about you. And if we don't get an example here today, I've got a great example of someone that I know that does this all the time. Mind reading, assuming that you know what others are thinking, both positive and negative. I know what that person's thinking. They're thinking this, and this. I hear this a lot when I'm socializing, is people go, well, that person thinks this. And I go, well, how do you know? Well, because this, and this. Well, and so what evidence? But what facts do you have? What evidence? I mean, did you talk to them? Did you try and get some understanding? No, I just know. Okay, so we're mind reading. Discounting the positive and the negatives, just saying, okay, whatever that person said, I'm dismissing it. I'm ignoring it. Could be because who it came from. It could be because I know they said something else before. Could be I just don't like it. I didn't fit me. Didn't fit my identity. Doesn't fit who I think I am. It's something I really believe about myself deep down, but I don't want anybody to know. All those kinds of things could be reasons for discounting, both the negative and the positive. A lot of times that's pushing away recognition, discounting recognition. Well, it wasn't that great. I didn't do that great a job. It wasn't that big a deal. Well, yeah, it was. Should statements. So a lot of should statements about others and self. I should have. And people should. Everybody should. You should. And shoulds usually indicate that it's about changing others, not changing me. So it's a deflection in many ways, not to take responsibility for your own should statements, and that you really don't want to be the one who's going to change or wants to change. Emotional reasoning. So this is believing that whatever you feel is actually truth. And many times it's an indicator of truth. So showing people using their intuition and things like that. But When people say I feel that way, therefore it is a distortion and not fact, usually not fact based because it's internal. It's my feeling. I'm not checking Jeff's feeling or Steve's feeling or George's feeling against mine. I'm just saying it's my feeling. And so therefore it's true. Because I have that feeling it is true. Negative labeling, so classifying myself or others in extreme descriptors. You know, that's an awful person. They're not smart. That person's really horrible. You know, we know people on media that use a lot of extreme negative labeling. That's always a good example right on our television. Okay, so those are the cognitive distortions. What I'd like to do is an exercise of saying what distorted or hindering inner narratives have you had, or if you've known others, maybe not on this call, but others have in the job hunting journey. And I am going to escape out of this. It might take it off the screen. Well, I'll just leave it on the screen. I was realizing I can't type while I'm in presentation mode. So anyone want to start us off?
Anybody? Here we go. Hold on.
And I can go back to this.
I don't fit a standard job description.
Okay, good. I don't fit. Okay, and which one do you think that is?
Several. All of them. That's probably for nothing. Overgeneralization.
Yes.
Catastrophizing.
Perhaps. Uh-huh. Perhaps. Could that be an emotional reasoning as well?
Yeah, emotional reasoning, negative labeling.
Yes, there's got to be a negative label in there somewhere about self. I don't fit. Somehow I'm what? Not good enough, not don't have the right skills, not what? I don't know who I was talking to. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
This is Sally. I'm in the room.
Sally. Oh, Sally. So yeah, there's a sense of I in there. I'm not because I don't fit. So your thinking is I don't fit because of something. Is there a reason you feel like you don't fit?
Well, learner is in my top 5 strengths. And so I've spent an entire career learning new things, not fitting a job description, but figuring it out when I got there.
So why don't you fit?
Good question.
You know, if you're a learner, it seems like you fit everything.
I know.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you for that. Very good. I love it. Thank you for that. Another one. Somebody have another one?
Yeah, this is Fabian. The one I think lines up with what I've experienced is emotional reasoning. That false belief that my emotions are a reliable indicator of the truth.
Can you give us some example, Fabian?
Yeah, I've had several Zoom interviews, and personally, I thought they went very well. And the next step was supposed to be a follow-up with the actual group who's looking to hire that new person. But after a week or so of waiting, I realized that they pursued other candidates rather than following up with me. And I think that I may have not been the right fit for that role, but I never heard back as to any feedback as to why they decided to go a different way. even though I thought that the interview I that I participated on went very well.
So what emotion was used?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you had emotional reasoning. So you had the Zoom interview, a week went by, you didn't hear from them. So you just assumed you weren't a fit for the role. So what's the emotional reasoning? Like what was what emotion that said, I'm not a good fit?
Well, I thought that by the interview that I was involved in, everything went well. The questioning went back and forth. It was a good discussion, but the aftermath was not what I was expecting. So the belief that I had that things went well apparently was not correct. So
Maybe you put a should statement in there too about
yes,
I should have, right? Or they should have. They should have called me. I should have expected this.
yeah, I would say that. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe some shoulds in there. Okay. All right. And so what okay, perfect. Anyone else want to share?
Yep, here we go.
I do. Okay, this would probably be emotional reasoning. It's kind of hard to read that. Maybe this is the right category, but what I would say is I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm doing everything these wonderful coaches and experts in this have, shared with me to do. And my situation is okay. I'm doing all the right things. I'm messaging them, I'm calling them, I'm trying to connect with them, and I've got what they're looking for. The job they're looking for, I've got everything they're looking for. I'd be a perfect fit. They will not return my call. They don't connect. They don't do what they're supposed to do. These are professionals. They should be doing it. So I guess my emotion is anger. And the professional person that I am says, this is wrong. This is unprofessional. This is not what professionals do. They do what they say they're going to do. They respond to people. They give them the truth.
And is that anger helping you?
No, it's making me more frustrated.
And I'm sorry, I didn't capture your name.
It's Polly. I'm sorry.
Polly.
I'm an office manager, senior administrative professional. I've been doing it for a long time. I know it's professional. I know what isn't. I guarantee you, if we carried on in our positions like these people, they would say, buddy, you're out the door. Today's your last day. You're gone. Right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
so
right. But if
yeah.
I would really let them have it, because I'm sorry, I'm one of those right or wrong. This is
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. So there we go. So we got some all or nothing thinking in there.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. And I know, and I'm right. And so there's a right and there's a wrong. And they're wrong. So there's a little bit of all or nothing. And there's a little bit of they should be doing it differently. I'm angry that they're not. But you can't control them. You can't control them. So all you can do is control here. Here, right here. So we're going to talk about controlling right here. We're going to go. Thank you. The three of you, thank you. Thank you, brave souls. Now, what I'd like to do is go through a worksheet of shifting to the alternatives. And I think we did a little shifting already with Sally. I got a little ahead of myself because I was like, okay, let's fix this. But but I'd like at least one of you, and Sally, you're You're up for grabs. Sally, uh, Polly, and oh, I'm sorry, Fabio. Oh. Either one of you want to volunteer to work through this worksheet with me? I know it's probably hard to see in the screen in the room. I'll verbalize it as we go.
I'll do it. I'm happy. This is Sally. I'm happy to be the guinea pig.
Okay, Sally. So,
Read it.
so the situation is the first box. What was the context? What was happening at the time and or prior to the thought that you had? I don't fit a standard job description.
So the spray and pray method of applying for jobs that are found online, I can meet 80%, 80 to 90% of the qualifications. But that won't get me past the ATS.
Okay. And so okay, so now you're bringing in another variable, ATS. Okay, so what was happening? You can't before the thought you had that I don't fit a standardized job fit. It was that
thanks, emails.
Huh?
The thanks but no thanks emails.
Okay.
So definitely rejection was what was said in the room.
Okay, so the rejection, constant repetitive rejection, and I'm just not getting there. So I don't. It's almost like an absolute thought. It's almost like an all or nothing.
Well, I'm definitely a black and white kind of person. As my therapist.
Well, there we go. So we've got that established in black and white, and so that's good. That's helpful. You got an email rejection. You decided to overgeneralize and to be black and white to say, I don't fit any of them. And so the automatic thought, that's your automatic thought, which is the next box, which is describe the thought, rate how much you believe in that thought. So let's rate that from up to 100%.
Well, definitely 100%.
So you believe that 100%.
But you limited me to 100.
Excellent. That's an all or nothing thinking answer. Excellent. I love it. It would have been either 0 or 100. There's not much in between. Okay. So the next column is the emotion or behavior. What feeling or behavior resulted from that thinking? Did it result in a behavior? Did it result in a emotion? We know it was an emotion, right?
Yeah, the emotion was, oh, well, this just doesn't work. So I'm not going to waste my time on it.
Okay, so not waste time on it. So all right, so that's another thought. So but what's the emotion? Is it frustration? Is it giving up? Giving up's not technically an emotion, but close. I'm giving like a resolution. I'm done.
Right.
I give up. That's it.
And what was
I'm
that?
frustrated. So I'm hearing frustration in there.
Yeah, frustration. And it still goes back to the rejection of feeling unwanted.
Unwanted.
Anger.
Okay.
Somebody said anger in the room.
Thank you. Anger. Excellent. So we have frustration, unwanted, anger.
Of I'm extremely qualified. I'm overqualified for what you're looking for because you only want 3 to 4 years experience.
And so I'm angry and I'm probably hurt. There, with the rejection and what is it going on? Sort of like that one comment that gets repeated, which is, what's my value? I'm starting to become a little unshaky about what my true value is to the market today.
Right.
So So did it change? So I think about the behavior, maybe you gave up. You're doing nothing. That's the 0A. I'm doing nothing.
I'm not of the, if we have our pie of different parts and pieces, networking, applying online, doing the different parts of job search, the small part of the pie that is applying to jobs has gone down to zero.
Okay. All right.
Still continuing to network. I'm still trying to reach out to recruiters and do those other pieces, but I've closed my heart off to this part.
Okay. Close your heart off. I love it. Heart, that's the hurt. I love it. Thank you. You're giving us great detail. Okay, so we know what the cognitive distortions are. They're the all or nothing, which is probably number one. Number two is overgeneralizing and taking it into areas that maybe they need to be shifted, but not a new thing. So you're taking one part of the job hunt and just saying, I'm done with that. And that could be the right thing for you. Don't know. It's a choice. But let's think about an alternative thought. Instead of thinking, I don't fit any of the job descriptions out there. Nobody calls me back. All I do is get rejection letters. I'm out of here. What's an alternative way? What's a more adaptive or helpful way to think that might make you feel less angry or less hurt?
This week I've been reading, I paid for all my 34 strengths finders in order. And I've been reading through that and restudying it. And it's been very helpful in reminding me that I've been designed by a creator with skills and abilities and talents. And he's given me an entire career of successes that I need to remember.
And how many do you need to find? How many people that like non-rejections and acceptance do you need to find?
Well, as a people pleaser, I need lots of validation. Really only need one.
You need one.
Need
Thank
one.
you. You need one. That's all you need. And so you have to find the one. You have to let the other one find you.
Correct.
And so, right? So the alternative thinking might be, I know I have wonderful strengths and a unique design, and I have a purpose here, and I have a role to play and a niche. I need to find the niche and help people find me.
And that pulls in my connectedness and belief strengths.
Excellent. I love that. So you can use those strengths and maybe some other ones in there that I didn't ask you what your top five are, but use
consistency, discipline, analytical, connectedness, learner. I know them.
Okay, very good. So using those strengths to help others find you, for you to find them. And so even in the ATS system, using some of that to help people find you, other ways people can find you using those strengths. So I think the alternative thought I'm hearing is starting to get your juices going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's moving you forward. And so that's what we want. We want to change our thinking from I give up to, okay, wait a minute. Here it goes. I mean, what's really going on here? Blah, blah, blah. Get your head straight. And you just did. So kudos for you. Yay. Yay. And there's a little personalization in there too, Sally, that I'm hearing. It doesn't belong. Like it's not personal. This is not personal. It feels personal, but it is not personal.
It's personal.
It's business.
It is business.
business. Yeah. So add that in there too. Excellent. Thank you. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So that's the first phase. The second phase is taking that and implementing it. So for Sally would put the old belief at the top. You're going to test it out. Put a hypothesis in there and the new behavior. And then on the right-hand side, start looking at what needs to be done, what needs to be in place for you to test your hypothesis, your new thinking. How and when will you be able to use it? And what are you going to do if the old original creeps back in? So how do you then make it sustainable once you decide it's a good alternative? So for Sally, that's where she already tried it. She's going to be trying it out. And then, so once you try it out, Sally, then your experiment, then it's okay, I get it. It's working for me. And it's starting to create some new opportunity because I can see new perspectives. Because things like anger and hurt and rejection, that closes us off to new perceptions and we miss opportunities right in front of us. So we have to open those up to be able to see the new opportunities. And so that's how do you sustain it, which is repeat. You got to be on yourself all the time. Okay, well, I'm going to do a check of timing. So it's 11 o'clock. Jeff, I have with questions included till 11:30, right?
Oh, we can go to about the 11:20 would be great.
Perfect. I can do that. Okay, so I do want to just briefly go over biases because biases are part of our cognitions and our inner dialogues. Some of them are implicit and we're unaware of them, and we have to have other people help us with them to draw them out. And some of them are explicit, which we're aware of our biases. We may not like them, but we need to address them. So biases are normal. But these, instead of being individualistic, they are across humanity. So we all do it, and we do it just about the same way. So that's the difference between a inner narrative that is adaptive and helping us versus non-adaptive. It's unique. It's within the distortions that we talked about there, but the way we do it is a little different from each other. Whereas, and we don't all have the same ones. Whereas biases, they're the same across human beings. They're predictable shortcuts because we can't process all the information. So we make shortcuts like stereotyping. And we get messages our whole childhood and early adulthood about these biases from our family, from our friends, from our work situations, and we take them in either consciously or not consciously. And they come out all the time. We can be calm and we can be stressed, but they're there. They don't go away. And you've heard about these institutional biases that are implicit and are structural and go through the structure of our society. It's similar to that with you as well. Now, when you have this deck, you'll blow this up. This is all the biases that are regularly recognized. Now, just generally, if you look on the upper left, it says, what should we remember? Biases. I should remember, you should remember, all these things. On the lower left, these are needs that we have, biases we have to act fast. And all of these biases push us for immediacy and action. And then on the lower right, it's not enough meaning. We don't have enough context. We don't have enough information. So we use a lot of different kinds of shortcuts that we imagine, we make assumptions about. And then there's the too much information. And think about too much information. We know a lot of people, well, even not enough meaning. where too much information, people give you too much information. I give you too much information. I'm trying to load you up with information and just hope you find a nugget in there, because I'm not sure in a group like this which nuggets are going to be helpful. So I'm a product of a bias to too much information. And I have to work with that constantly. I had to work with this deck over and over to get it skinny down, because I just think everything's important when it's really not. Okay, so you'll blow those up and you'll see which ones are yours. Common ones, you've probably heard these in some other presentations as well, but I think these are related close to the job hunt, which is the confirmation bias. We tend to listen more often to information that confirms what we already know and what we already believe. So we listen to speakers who join in our beliefs and our values, and we sort of dismiss, back to that confirmation, back to the distorted inner thinking. We sort of dismiss information that we really don't think is related to us and we'll never take in. But we miss a lot. Again, anchoring bias, a tendency to be overly influenced by the first piece of information you hear and forget the rest. There's a sunk cost bias, which is continuing a behavior or a commitment because the prior investment of that behavior or commitment or money has been put in, even though it's no longer working. So, Sally, this could be a little bit of one of your biases playing into this as well. I want to continue this behavior even though it's not working, because I push so much time and effort into it. And sometimes we need to let go and say that that's enough. The actor observer bias, a tendency to attribute our actions that are influenced by external circumstances, but other people's actions are about them. It's about something inside of them that caused that. But whatever caused my action isn't inside me. And so that's a bias that we tend to have, an unconscious bias that you might want to think about in your job hunt. The false consensus, people tend to overestimate how many other people or how much other people agree with you, because people go, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And people think you're agreeing when you're not really agreeing. You're just trying to keep the conversation going. But people think that that they're being agreed with. And so there's a false sense of consensus to their thoughts. And then the scarcity, the principle in which we think things are scarce and less available to us are inherently more valuable. And so, think about the whole idea of, wait a minute, that person got a job and that person got a job. But what about me? Thinking, well, those are great jobs. Well, maybe they're not so great jobs. I don't know. But it seemed valuable because I don't have one. So that's another bias. So those are the main biases that I see repeated in some of the language that comes out in the post landing interviews that I do. So the bottom line today is that shifts in your cognition and your inner narratives accounts for 50% of the success in your transition. And the speed, it will speed things up. You will naturally get there, but you can speed it up. We all have distorted thinking and cognitive biases. They're things we have to control and we need to shift. We need to have a list of all of the ways that we have these hindering internal narratives and start chipping away at them now. Because it's those inner narratives and your evolving identity. You need to be with different people, open yourself up for experiences and learn and seeing things differently, going, oh, I never thought about it that way. That's an aha. That's going to help you shorten your transition. So make your narratives work for you. That's my message. And just a little note. Our environments also impact the transition. They can hinder us and they can speed us up. One of the things that's really important is to keep your loved ones along the journey. Keep them aware of the journey. Get them involved in the journey. Because if you leave them behind, it will be a little bit of cleanup work. So, that's my disclaimer, my psychological disclaimer for you. And that's it. So the question is, what internal areas will you start transitioning today to shorten your transition? I wish you all the very best and thank you so much for your time today. I am opening it up for questions and thoughts.
Questions, anybody? All right, Tim. Always good for question every week.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for this awesome presentation, ma'am. Tim Farrell. Regarding a bias that I may have, and I'm wondering if it's based in truth or not, and you sound like an executive expert, so I thought I could ask you this. I for one would love to be an executive at a Fortune 500 company, but I've always assumed that one needs an MBA for such a job. Does a job hunter have to, have any business seeking an executive position in a Fortune 500 company without an MBA?
It depends on what area are you in, Tim?
Yes, electrical engineering. I've always been an individual contributor too.
Yes. So, in that field, I would say a master's degree, not necessarily an MBA. Again, depending on what your aspiration is, you said a publicly traded company. I've met many an engineer who is the senior executive over the engineering group, who does have a seat at the table, especially periodically. They typically work for the CFO or the COO. So I'd say yes, you can. If you're hoping for the COO type, through that engineering role, certainly you need the experiences of managing, the experiences of leading, and then a master's degree. If you want to go into the COO, I'd recommend an MBA. If you want to stay in the subject matter expert and over a critical part of an organization, then I'd say a master's degree.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Here in the room, anybody online have a question? No, nobody else? All right. Well, for everybody who's out there, make sure I have your email address and you'll get a copy of this presentation. Dr. Gray, thank you very much for your time. Really good information, a lot of information. I look forward to getting that chart that's micro type to see that and see what we can, see what I can see on it. So that'll be great.
Yes. It's a lot. And hopefully you have a screen that you can just, go like this on and make it as large as possible. So yes, but it's really helpful. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much. All right. A few more slides and we'll get out of here today. Next Friday, our speaker is going to be Walt Glass. He's going to talk about the selling interview, and hopefully we'll include more than just one poem next week. So
Can I make a comment? For those of you who've seen presentations in the past, this one's different. This is a lot about what I do in the workshop with the fundamentals of selling. I do, I help, and how do we do that? Looking at categories of questions, etc. So it's a little different than what you may have seen in the past.
Okay, thank you very much. This recording will be on the Career USA YouTube channel. You'll be able to click on, when you click on it, click on playlist, and every video I post goes into one of 7 different playlists. And if you click down in the lower left where it says view full playlist, up will come a list of all the speakers we've had over the last several years. You can go back and watch any one of the videos. Just remember, the speaker starts about 30 minutes into the presentation. Next Tuesday for LinkedIn Tuesday, Terry Sullivan will be with us to talk about how to tell your key contacts and prospects who you are, what you do, and how you can help. There will be no recording, so if you want to watch Terry, you do need to watch Terry live. The practice interview team will be being online only next Wednesday, so anybody around the United States can watch a practice interview. They've got 3 different interviews scheduled, and just by watching somebody else being interviewed, you will learn things also. But even better if you sign up so you can get interviewed. And then next Friday, Walt will be with us, the selling interview. Today we're gonna go to Jason's Deli. How many people think they're gonna go? So we have a big table to get. 1, 2, 3, so 3, 4, 5. All right. Oh no, we're not going to Jason's today. Didn't I earlier say we're going to Country Burger? All right, please avoid that. We're going to go to Jason. We're going to go to a Country Burger. Sorry about that. I didn't get it on my slide set up right. Just a reminder, the church theoretically is closed during the summer. And the doors will be locked, so there'll be somebody downstairs from 9:15 to 9:40 to let you in. Today, the doors were open, so we could just come in, but that's not supposed to be the case on Friday mornings. Thank you very much for joining us, to everybody. Dr. Gray, once again, thank you very much. Everybody have a safe Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you all next week.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.